Well, hey everybody, and welcome to Sunday and our live show. I know there's a big football game on, but we will get. It says preview mode. Oh, are you guys getting me there? Okay, we're on. All right, sorry guys, I was discombobulated there. I just wanted to say, hey, welcome to Sunday. I know there's a big football game on, but if you watch the live show, there'll be plenty for the second half in football. I get it. All right. So last week we did a whole bunch of pictures that people sent in, and then I forgot to give the email for those that want to send in a picture for the following week. I didn't do that, so we don't have any pictures, but it does remind me that I need to give you the email. It's zach@motormouth.ca. That's ZACK at motormouth.ca or ZACK@motormouth.ca. If you want to send a picture in, we'll do that. All right, just want to let you know, last week I took down a couple of notes to send email inquiries to the PR departments. The first one was to Subaru, and the question was, when is the WRX going to be available in the marketplace? And I got quite a short reply from the PR person at Subaru Canada saying, we haven't announced when it's coming. And I wrote back, I said, well, can you tell me if it's going to be the spring, the summer, or the fall? They wrote back again and said, we haven't announced when it's going to be available. I didn't think that was very good. They could have given us some guidance. So there you go. Not getting anything from the PR department there. And then the other question was James, who did a super chat saying that he's not getting heat or much heat in his Mazda CX-30 below minus 20 degrees Celsius. And he referenced that this is a known problem as he's been reading about. I sent that to the Mazda PR department and got a much better response from Mazda than I did from Subaru. And they said this is the first that they have heard of it in the PR department, but they're going to follow up with their technical support and hopefully get some answers. We haven't heard anything back from them just yet. Okay, let's get into, first of all, if you want to do a super chat, if you really just have to get your question answered, you can always do that. And I think we started with a super chat already. There he is, Charlottetown Spud, one of my favorite handles. Charlottetown Spud, greetings from snowy Prince Edward Island, looking at a used 16 to 18 low mileage BMW 2 Series. Is the 228 enough, or is it worth going up to the 235 or the 240? Now, Charlottetown, I know that you've had a Civic Type R in your past. I think that you would be well served if you can make the stretch to definitely get the inline six-cylinder. You will not be disappointed. That really is the essence of the small BMW cars. The heritage of the brand with the inline six-cylinder makes it a totally different experience. So maybe save a little more, change your criteria for the search years. But yes, a 2 Series with the inline six-cylinder is the one to get if you're a driving enthusiast, for sure. By the way, I don't have a picture up here, but the review of the latest M240, I'm just started editing it today, will be dropping on Wednesday. So coming up this week, we're doing a comparison of the Mitsubishi Outlander 3-row compact SUV up against the only other compact SUV in the non-premium space that's available with 3 rows. That's the Volkswagen Tiguan. So that's going to be dropping on Tuesday. Wednesday, it's going to be the... Wednesday it is, I mentioned the 2 Series BMW. I was just trying to think ahead of what we're going to do on Saturday. I don't think we've decided yet, but, oh, I know what it is. It's the Mercedes-Benz EQS, the full-size electric sedan from Mercedes-Benz. Basically the S-Class electrified, and we're going to have that coming up on Saturday. Okay, let's get in. We did Charlottetown's question first. As I mentioned, any super chats definitely get answered quicker. And I know I missed one last week, and I apologize to the fellow that sent it in. My bad, but I'm here by myself. Any recommendations for a sleeper sedan similar to the Audi S4 but more affordable? I was going to say the RS4. Sleeper sedans that would, you know what? Speaking of the BMW 2 Series, The 2 Series Grand Coupe with the uprated engine, it's not a 6-cylinder, it's the higher horsepower Turbo 4. That's a real sleeper little car, actually. That goes pretty quick. You could look at a higher performance version of the Mercedes-Benz CLA. Just trying to think these off the top of my head. Sleeper sedans. Yeah, those are a couple if you're thinking sedan. Or you could just go and get a Golf R. It's kind of, for the average cat, doesn't know about the Golf R. It's just a Golf, but it's a lot of fun, over 300 horsepower. This is Chase giving us a hands doing a high five. That's the emoji he sent. So I appreciate that in the super chat. Okay. All right. Up to the top we go. We have 129 people on and 27 thumbs up. So if you guys could smash the thumbs up, that would be fantastic. Let's get into the questions. Oh, I left my volume on there. Turn that down. Okay, here we go. The first one is, I heard that the Palisade is to get a facelift for the 2023 model. Yes, that's true. I saw some spy pictures of the interior, but yeah, it's the Koreans are very aggressive with their facelifts. Sometimes they'll change the car a lot. I've been to facelift events from, was it Hyundai or Kia? Kia, I believe. I went to a Sorento event, and I went for the facelift, and I'm thinking, oh, it's just a mild. Then I got in the car. It was a whole new interior in the car. So they do it. Bengals to the Super Bowl. Wow, what a football year. It has been a great football year. And I'm so glad, just me speaking, that the Chiefs didn't win on the coin toss, because that's what got me last week with the Bills. They lost the coin toss and they never got the ball. I think the NFL overtime rules, if you score on the first possession, is ridiculous. You'd have to give both teams a chance to get a possession. In the Canadian Football League, in playoffs, both teams get a possession in overtime, and I think that's the way it should be. There's you're hearing a lot of squawking about this, so I think that maybe the NFL might change it, but we'll have to wait and see. All right. Hi, Zach. My 2 favorite cars I've ever owned are an E90 3 Series and an E60 5 Series. Love the steering feel and ride quality. Which brand new sedan today has most resembled these cars? Well, I would say if you like that feeling, the new BMWs are going to give you a similar experience. Actually, the 2 Series that we just finished driving, I thought the steering feel was excellent. You know what car is going to surprise you that I find reminds me of older BMWs in some ways for the steering feel is the Mustang GT. It has a really nice steering feel. It's kind of like an old school way that they dial it in, and I really like it. That's one car as an example, I would say. Lee Gigi, what do you think about Grand Seiko Diver's Watch? I shall not tell a lie. I shall not tell a lie. Today, I was surfing the internet, looking at Grand Seikos to buy. Scouts honor, whatever you do with Scouts. I just was looking today. I'm a big fan of Grand Seiko. Every time I go to Japan, I'm always on the look for a vintage Grand Seiko, but you really got to know where to go in Tokyo, and it's such a massive city, and I didn't have enough time. If I could just spend a whole day on my own with someone showing me around that knew where the hell we were going, that would be the way to shop for a vintage Grand Seiko. But I think they make fantastic watches. They're not as saleable as other brands. Like you have a Rolex, easy to sell. You have an Omega, fairly easy to sell. A Grand Seiko, it's a specific buyer, but they're absolutely top quality. Hey, Zach, can you make a 2022 Ford Maverick Hybrid all-wheel drive and a 2022 GMC Sierra 1500 Elevation X31, a Ram 2200 TRX off? That's a lot of stuff you want. Just to let you know, the Maverick was supposed to be here, but if you're not aware, in British Columbia, we had a massive rainstorm that washed out the major highway that connects Vancouver with the rest of the country. The Maverick was supposed to come before Christmas and then got delayed. I'm not sure where it is, but as soon as we get it, we will definitely get our hands on it. So you want more pickups. Noted. More pickups. Noted. Hey, Zach, was great to chat with Andrew on Instagram. Off topic, but why do you sell your OP39? Loving my OP31. More watch questions. The OP39 and 41, if, for those that don't know, OP means Oyster Perpetual. It's basically the entry level line of the Rolex family. And an Oyster Perpetual is a wonderful, simple, clean watch. And I had the now discontinued OP39, and I'll show you why I sold it. This is why I sold it. To fund this. To buy the Cayenne GTS. And back to my point about Grand Seiko and Rolex is that really easy to sell a Rolex. I put it up for sale. I got all of my money and a little bit more back. And one watch paid for half of that. And then the other half was paid for by selling my old Tacoma truck, which is also easy to sell, by the way. So there you go. That's why I sold it, or I would still have it. All right. I think we got more super chats here. We got to catch up. There's Scott with the Mustang GT. Hey, Zach, blasted through the twisties in Huari National Forest, North Carolina today in the GT. Nice. I hope I didn't butcher the name. I think I've been... is that near Tail of the Dragon? Because we did what was called years ago the Mazda Rally or the Mazda Rally. Every year they used to take a bunch of journalists and do like a 3-4 day driving event. And we spent a lot of time in that part of the world going through the Smoky Mountains, is it the Blue Ridge Mountains, all of that part of the world. Spectacular roads, great food, nice people. It was great. Love my wife forever. May God forgive us. Okay, that's the name of your handle. Okay. A used 13 Mazda CX-9 Touring Sport, a good car, with 116,000 miles, a good car. It's priced at $7,000 with TCS and ABS light on. Thank you. Okay, so $7,000 for a used 3-row SUV in today's current market sounds a little bit too good to be true. And if you've got check engine lights on there, now it might not be a major thing to fix the check engine lights, but that's kind of a red flag. It's one of those stories. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Number one rule with buying a car now that's almost 10 years old, is that with that many miles on it, is the fact that you need to get it inspected. You have to do what's called a pre-purchase inspection and get somebody to go through it and highlight all the things that the car might need. So please do that. I'm not saying the car is terrible and you shouldn't buy it. I'm just saying that it sounds like a too low a price to me. I don't know your market specifically, but it sounds very, very low considering there are very few used cars for sale right now. What's your opinion on reliability of Mercedes-Benz Sprinter with the 4-cylinder Blue Tech engine? Well, I think the diesel is the one to buy, if any of those sort of vans. I know that the ProMaster has a V6, the good old Pentastar, which is a very reliable engine as well. I personally would want a diesel for fuel economy. I'm not sure if you're using it to turn it into a van conversion or something like that. The best thing to do is to go on to a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter forum, or maybe there's a Facebook group for them. From what I understand, the engines are really quite reliable. However, they're maintenance heavy, and the maintenance can be expensive. There's some van lifers that I follow, a Canadian couple based around the Kingston area, and they have a couple of these Sprinter vans, and they're diesels. I'm not sure exactly what engine it is. And they even said, in their experience, it was worth taking it to the dealership because they really know these engines instead of getting somebody else to do the work on it. So my advice is, do more. I don't know specifically of the weak points of the engine or the drive line, but do your research, and then also remember to keep the maintenance up on that. That was the feedback I got from them. Here's Jerome from Quebec. Hi, did Ford fix reliability issues with the P-Boost? I'm not sure what you mean by it. You mean EcoBoost? Not sure what you mean by P-boost. Just write another one, Jerome. Just write another one. Hi, Zach. What do you think about Honda as a car company? I just feel they've fallen back so much as compared to others like Hyundai and even Nissan. I would agree with you. I think that they've had some good new products. Like, listen, the new Civic is a really good car. The Civic hatchback is good. However, they have left the CRV to rot on the vine for far too long. They just announced this week that the Alliston, Ontario factory, where the CRV is currently made alongside the Civic, has remained the factory of choice for the new 2023 model, which signals clearly that there's a brand new 2023 model. In addition, they have signaled that the hybrid production is also going to be at that factory, which means finally in this market in Canada, we're going to get the CRV hybrid. It's not being sold here, a major step back to your point. You know, the RAV4 hybrid has turned out to be a massive hit for Toyota, and CRV, one of the best-selling cars, and it's made in Canada, not sold in this market with a hybrid, a missed opportunity. So there is a new one coming. The president of Honda has been pretty clear on this, that he feels that they've been far too slow and they haven't been adaptive, and they are going to be pushing down and getting things moving along. But you can see that brands get into trouble with, my friend Dennis DeRosier always says, brands get into trouble with product, and they also get out of trouble with product. You only need to look at Nissan as an example that been able to turn things around even in the last 18 months with a new Rogue with good reviews and great design and is selling well. New Nissan Frontier that just came to market that is arguably probably one of my favorite compact trucks right now. They have the new Sentra that's selling very well. They have a brand new Pathfinder that's going to do very well for them, and more coming. And then on the Infiniti side, they've got a brand new QX60. So there was a brand 2 years ago, everybody was writing off saying Nissan's, not doing much. But Honda needs to come with the same kind of fervor to get people excited about their brand. And the way they do it is with product. Shout out again to my buddy Dennis DeRosier. So there you go. I would suggest that we stay tuned and see what's going to come from with the CRV. It's going to be shown this fall, and we'll get a better idea. Okay. Jerome was asking about Power Boost. So what was your question again about Power Boost? Did Ford fix reliability issues? I don't really know much about reliability issues with Power Boost, and I'm actually on a Facebook group for EcoBoost and Power Boost. I'm not sure. Tell me what the issues are. I'd love to know. The thing is, Andrew and I can't know every car and every issue with every car. There's just so much stuff to cover. Here's John. Hi, Zach. What do you think about Honda as a car company? I think we just did that one. We just did that one. I just want to say, Fred Zeppelin, who might have quickly gone to my top spot as the best handle we've had in a while, because my favorite handle, DJ Pleasure Seeking Missile, hasn't been here in a while, but Fred Zeppelin's here, and I like that name, Fred Zeppelin. Don't Nissan my Honda. All right, there you go. I guess that's what the crowd thinks about the Honda and Nissan reference. All right, we have 259 on board and 92 thumbs up. So if you guys could smash the thumbs up, I think it helps. I don't really know, but I think it helps. Webby saying, on your last comparison video, you picked the Infiniti over the MDX. What would you pick between the Infiniti and the Grand Cherokee L V6? I believe the Grand Cherokee L is more expensive. Now, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me just this second. The Grand Cherokee L is bigger. The Grand Cherokee L has more available features, like air suspension, for example. Grand Cherokee L is arguably a nicer interior. They did a very good job with it. What the Grand Cherokee doesn't have for it, I don't believe, is first-year proven reliability. I personally wouldn't touch a first-year Grand Cherokee L. The old Grand Cherokee that they've been making for over 10 years, for the most part, turned out to be an incredibly reliable and well-made SUV. This new one has all kinds of new tech. Same carried over engine. Platform is new. But I think some of the in-dash tech is maybe still wanting to have some upgrades. So that would be my advice on that. So there you go. I think you probably have a better shot for reliability with the Infiniti. We'll see. I mean, they might come out and shoot the lights out with a quality score, but early indications from what I'm hearing about that, not so much. Hey, Zach, I have 4 cars as finalists to purchase later in the year. A Telluride, a G70, a BMW i4, and a Sierra 1500 Elevation. I've test driven all but the BMW. Cannot make a choice. Jackson, dude, you've got a sports sedan, a 3-row SUV, an electric teeny car, and a full-size pickup. How am I supposed to decide out of that? What do you want? You got to decide what you want. Do you want a sports sedan? Do you want an SUV? You want a truck? That you need to decide first, and then we can give you an answer. Hey, Zach, new subscriber here. Ford Ranger Tremor versus Tacoma Off-Road. Which one is your choice? Haven't driven the Ranger Tremor. I just can't say. I would say just based purely on the fact that the Toyota has one of the highest resale values in the auto industry, period. So the highest resale value, especially in the Canadian market, is the Jeep Wrangler. It's crazy high resale value. And then the Toyota Tacoma and 4Runner are really close to each other. So for me, it comes down to the overall ownership experience. Okay, good product, does what it's supposed to do, but incredibly reliable and incredible resale value. So that is a very big magnet pulling towards Toyota, but haven't driven the Tremor. Apologize about that. This is a good question from Raphael. It's a quick question. Would you pick a 2022 base Porsche Macan or an SQ5? Thanks. Well, that's a very good question. So the Porsche Macan video just dropped yesterday. People seem to like it. It's a fancy color. SQ5 has a much lighter steering feel than the Porsche has, a little bit more dynamic feel. More room in the back seat. A more practical shape. You know, the Macan is a sweeping, rounded, sporty SUV. A real true classic crossover in that it really is the heart of a car with a SUV body on top. But the engine of the SQ5 is a lot more power, and the V6 delivers great sound and all those sorts of things. I don't know. I don't know. That's a really tough one. I would suggest you go and try them both and see what you like. Probably, I would say SQ5 just based on the fact that as much as I like the Macan and everything about it, for me personally, if it wasn't the S with the V6 engine, I wouldn't buy it, right? But the reason we review it is because we know loads of people buy it. And loads of people, the vast majority of people own the base model Macan. So on that front, for those people, this new upgrade is good. For me personally, my personal take, I would have to get the Macan S, and that's why I would probably lean towards the SQ5. But it's not the same car. It's not the same product. It doesn't drive the same way. It's good, but it's not as good as the Macan when it comes to, the solidity of it. Hey, Zach, I own a GTI. On your GTI review, you mentioned it could take regular gas. It's recommended by Volkswagen to run on 87 or 91. Or can we alternate between both? Yes, you can. The car is calibrated to run on regular gas. And my advice to anybody that has a car that is calibrated to run on regular gas, put regular gas in it. Save the money. You can put in premium. Say you're going on a road trip and you want to have a little bit more spirited fun, and you're not just going to be, stuck in regular daily grind traffic, then throw some premium in there. You could split the difference and put mid-grade in. But yeah, there's no issue putting a higher grade fuel in or a lower grade. If the car is calibrated to run on the regular gas, no problem at all. My advice is run it on regular gas. Hi, do you have any new info about the CR-V hybrid? No, all I know is what I told you, is it has been announced that the vehicle will be made still here in Canada, and the hybrid production has been added to the Alliston factory, okay? We don't know anything more about it other than it's coming. Hey, Zach, what's your advice of buying a new Wrangler? To build a fully loaded one or to buy a bare boat? Four or two doors? Listen, the four door, two door thing is really a personal preference. I would suggest that in the used market, the Wrangler Unlimited four door is the one most people buy. It quickly became the best seller. It's practical. The two door is really cool if you're a single person and you like that classic Jeep look. I get it. But I think for practicality, having the second set of doors, being able to take some friends in it, that sort of thing, get the Wrangler Unlimited. Now, should you fill it up? Listen, there's some nice, I think the Sahara grade of Wrangler is nice. I mean, it has most of the amenities kind of you want. That's where I would kind of shop. If I go up to a Rubicon, it's not for me with the tires. I wouldn't get the 4xe yet. I mean, there's going to be, lots of different options when it comes to plug-in hybrids, and more probably coming from Stellantis as we go forward. And plus, it's very expensive. So I would go sort of like a mid-grade Wrangler. It's going to be just fine. What I would want would be heated seats, for sure. Get that. Do you know when the new Sequoia will be released and in Canada and pricing? Don't know exactly. Don't know the pricing. All they did was show the car, the truck, the SUV. So basically what they did was they took the plug-in hybrid out of the Tundra and turned it into a full-size body-on-frame SUV. It's going to be expensive. It's going to be really expensive. But you think about what it's up against. The products that sell in the full-size SUV space are Cadillac Escalade, GMC Denali's, Yukons, the big General Motors trucks. And then you get the Expeditions and vehicles like that. And then Stellantis has brought out their Grand Wagoneer, which is very expensive. So Toyota's smart. They say, okay, we're going to bring out a powerful hybrid. So the very thirsty previous Sequoia will be replaced with a Turbo 6 hybrid, getting you better fuel economy, but also premium power. But the price is going to be expensive. But it's competing with very expensive trucks. So I think Toyota's quite smart. They're like, we'll give you what you want, the sort of stuff that the domestic brands give you with the best of everything, but we'll charge for it. And those domestic trucks sell incredibly well. The General Motors full-size trucks are the best sellers, and they ain't cheap. Another question. I have $12,000 looking for a good, used, reliable three-row SUV or minivan. Any suggestions? Somebody is selling a Honda Pilot 2013, 103,000 miles with a third-row seat for 8.3. Any suggestions? Thank you. Well, thanks again for the super chat. Back to my original point. I would look at the vehicles and make sure you get them inspected. Toyota Highlander would be another great choice, just based on the fact that they work. That era of Highlander will have a 3.5-liter V6, reliable transportation, fairly roomy inside. The Pilot's a good choice, but please, 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 if you're going to be buying older cars with higher mileage and not expensive vehicles, meaning that, I don't know the market you're in, you really do need to get them inspected by a mechanic. It's going to cost you $100, $200 to get someone to look it over, but it could save you thousands. The transmission might be about to let go. The cooling system might be tired. The suspension might be all worn out. It might need all new brakes. You just don't know until you get it inspected. So please, I got no problem with a Honda Pilot if it's been well looked after. So get it inspected. Pilot would be a good choice. The Highlander would probably be my top pick, just based on the fact that Toyota knows what the hell they're doing, building cars for the long term. So there you go. Have a look at one of those. All right, where was I here? Isabel. Hi, Zach. Audi Allroad, Subaru Outback XT, Volvo Cross Country 2022 models. I like the Audi. I'm a big fan of what's called the Audi A4 platform. So that's the same platform they use for the A4 and the A5. And the Allroad is really nice. The Volvo is great as well. I think you're talking about the V60. I think I prefer the Allroad. The Subaru has a turbocharged engine, which is great, and I like it, and they did a good job with it. I would say probably the Outback and the Volvo are going to be close in size, but I'm not the biggest fan of the CVT in the Outback because at these prices, you can get just, a regular, 8 or 9 speed automatic transmission. Excuse me. Excuse me. So my pick personally would be Audi Allroad. I'm a big fan of that car. I like the interior. I like the simplicity of it. I like the way it drives. It's really nicely insulated, and I think it's just cool. I finally made the live show. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. So we have 330 plus on now and 144 thumbs up. If you guys could smash the old thumbs up, that'd be good. Hi, Zach. Brand names, resale value aside, which compact SUV is your favorite? I'm sorry, Julie, but I just can't take the resale value out of it because most people don't realize that the most expensive thing about owning a car is what's called depreciation. So putting gas in it is one of the cheapest things. And this is what always drives me crazy when people say, oh, I want to get rid of my car to get something more fuel efficient. Well, I call that an expensive way to save a few bucks on gas. So the car that you own is cheaper than buying a new one. And resale value is key to ownership. So you have reliability, that's one thing. Then you've got resale value, and then you've got the packaging and what it offers, and then you can add in things like fuel economy on top of that. Well, I would say, I think the SUV to beat when you combine all of those things together is the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid. In my opinion, it gets great fuel economy. It's more engaging to drive, arguably, than the regular gas model. It's got killer resale value from a brand that doesn't mess around when it comes to reliability. So that would be the logical choice, okay? Now you get into things like what are more fun to drive. Well, I would say that the Mazda CX-5 Turbo, getting a little pricier here, is more engaging to drive. And you can run it on regular gas or premium gas. If you want a little bit more power, you can run it on premium. And it is arguably a premium car replacement. So those are two to look at. And I think that you would be well served. If you're somebody that just likes the most functional car, big doors, great outward visibility, gonna be good in the snow, it's the Subaru Forester. We just did a video of our top 5 favorite compact utilities, and I encourage you to go and watch it. I think you'll get some good information there. Another super chat here. Hey Zach, new adult driver looking at getting a CX-30. Concerns? Recommending the base engine in Canada. What should I cross shop from coming from an Elantra GT? Listen, the 2.5 liter CX-30 is fine. I mean, you don't need to get the turbo. The turbo is a nice thing to have. It's a luxury, but it isn't essential. So what I suggest you do is go to the Mazda store, wherever you are, and try the 2.5 liter 4-cylinder. It's good. I get no problems recommending that one at all. The other vehicle I want you to drive, if you're going to be driving a non-turbo, is I want you to check out the Subaru Crosstrek with the larger 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine. Maybe, hello, come on in.
Just thought I would update 7-7.
What quarter are we in?
I think it's the second, but I don't know what time it's. Like,
so Jack
it's
tells me it's tied 7-7 in the football game. Yeah. Thanks, Jack.
I'll give you the time in like 20 seconds.
All right, no problem. So it's a different take on a similar kind of size and category. So I have no problem, honestly. The 2.5 turbo and the CX-30 is a luxury. It's not essential.
6 minutes left.
In the half?
In the half. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Jack. 6 minutes left in the half. It's tied 7-7. But you probably have the TV on in the background anyway. So that is my answer. Don't discount that car just because it doesn't have the turbo. And I think it's just fine. But drive the Subaru Crosstrek. I think you'll be surprised by how good it is. All right. Oh, here's Eric from Montreal. Shocked to see the asking price for secondhand Tesla Model 3, most times over MSRP. When can you get a new one with decent lead time and plus government rebates? I wonder if they're actually able to sell their cars. Um, I wonder, most times over MSRP when you can get a new one with decent lead times plus government rebates. Well, the part about the rebates is no longer true. Maybe in Quebec they're still offering some rebates on an electric Model 3, but the federal rebate no longer exists. In the Canadian market, if an electric car starts under $45,000, you get $5,000 credit off the car. That's the way it works in Canada. So what's happened with Tesla is in the last year, Tesla has put the prices up of the Model Y and the Model 3, and quite a lot. So what that's done is with the prices of the new going up, the used have been buoyed by that as well. Then we have a shortage of cars. People are impatient. They don't want to wait for a product. So that's why the used, but this is the same for everything. The used car market is like people write to me and go, oh, Tesla's, the resale value is great. Well, resale value on everything is good right now. So, look for a used Toyota RAV4. A used Toyota RAV4 that's 4 or 5 years old. It's about the same price as a new one. I mean, I don't get it. I would just order the new one and wait for it. But so I'm not sure what your question is. Shocked to see the prices, but that's just the market right now. So we're hearing delays at Tesla anywhere from 3 to 5 months to get the cars. I mean, sure, they're selling a lot of them. Can you compare Honda Pilot with the Toyota Highlander? Yeah, well, the problem is we're waiting for the new Pilot to come. Back to the point someone made earlier, Honda, really seems to be dropping the ball with a lot of their products. They haven't had a really good, strong refresh cycle, except for the Civic in like a couple of years. It's been several years since the latest Accord came out, so they're overdue. CRV's coming next year. Pilot needs to be done. The HRV certainly needs to be done. There was a sketch of the concept that was dropped a couple of weeks ago, so it's all in the works. But it's a brand that has been really resting on their old inventory for far too long. So yeah, we're going to kind of hold off on getting a Pilot to review until we get something new. What's the difference between 4 all-wheel drive and 4 high? Does it matter for off-roading? Thinking of the Sequoia and trying to understand how robust it is off-road. Okay, so four-wheel drive and 4 high. So in a body-on-frame SUV like a Jeep Wrangler or a Sequoia, you have basically low-speed transfer case for basically changing the ratios of the gears. So it's basically doubling the ratio, if that's the best way to describe it. So at low speeds, you can be up in higher gears. It doesn't really matter. All you need to know is that a SUV with a 2-speed transfer case with the ability to go from 4 high to 4 low does give you more off-road capability. The main reason you want it is to crawl over things. Now, the trick with off-roading isn't to go flying up as quickly as you can. The trick with off-roading is to be able to get over objects, and that's where you need the gear ratios to help you get the torque down to the wheels. So that's when you put it in 4 low and you drive slowly. You just don't go fast. And that's where something like that is advantageous. So most people driving in everyday situations will just leave it in 4 high or 4 auto, and never ever use like I have a Porsche Cayenne with a 2-speed transfer case, able to do that low range. I've never used it. I don't need it. I don't go off-roading in it, but it's there. That's basically what it does. It's for going off-road slowly, crawling over items. Did I explain that? I hope I explained it the best I could. Jason is saying, thoughts on the newly announced 2023 Cadillac Escalade V Series and the all-new Lyric. Yeah, so Cadillac, can't leave. I have a theory on this, by the way. We're seeing this from a lot of different car brands are bringing out their high-performance vehicles that they're going to be able to charge an arm and a leg for. So the Escalade is getting a big high-performance V8 option, the V Series. And I think you're seeing this. We're seeing a lot of RS models from Audi and high performance versions of different models that they're able to charge AMG cars a lot of money for. And I think the reason why the brands are doing it is to get as much money into their coffers to help pay for their electrification, which is quite ironic that you have this massive SUV from Cadillac, the Escalade. We all know what an Escalade is. Then you put in a monster engine in it that's just going to suck gas. The regular one already sucks gas. This one's even going to be even worse. And then on the other hand, by the way, look over here. We got this new fully electric SUV called Lyric. So it's kind of, they're doing a push and pull at the same time. But those high performance Escalades will help pay for the transition that General Motors needs to pay for. And we're seeing that. Like, we've never had so many RS cars from Audi in the North American market. Like an RS6 Avant wagon. I mean, those things, you can't get one. They're just so popular because Audi's like, oh, you want that stuff? We'll sell you that stuff and we'll charge you a lot for it. I think I think that the Escalade's cool, but I can't imagine how much gas it's going to use. There's Raj. Raj, where you been, man? You've been around for a while. Hope all is well. Finally made the live show. Haven't seen you in a while. Cameron, hey, are the interiors of vehicles like the Q7 and X5 really nicer than something like the Santa Fe Calligraphy? Love the show. I would argue that you could say that the Calligraphy is really pretty special inside and does rival some of those other cars. I would even say that the Calligraphy could be argued to be nicer than an X5 base model interior, because a base model, no, actually I think the base model X5 comes with leather, thinking of the X3, but yeah, as we mentioned in the Porsche Macan video, it all comes down to brand, right? Like, these cars and these brands have been at it for many, many decades. So sure, you can have an interior that's arguably nicer than a Q7 or an X5, but it isn't. It's still a Hyundai. What does that mean? Well, you tell me. Brand and marketing and prestige are all part of the package. Just like somebody a moment ago asked me to give a reference for a compact SUV, but leave out resale value and brand. Well, that's a huge part of it, because it also comes, so brand and prestige also factors into resale value. These cars are sought after in the used market, so it's all part of it. So yeah, I would say that the interior of a Calligraphy Santa Fe, if you just looked at it and objectively looking at the leather and the seats and the dash and all that, for sure it can go up against some of those cars. But it's a Hyundai. I don't know what else to say than that. I know it sounds like a stupid thing to say and snobby, but that's what the whole world is based on. The whole car industry has been selling you the newer the better and the more prestigious. That's what we're seeing with Tesla. Tesla has turned into the sort of young, tech-savvy person's status car. It's not a status car for me. I don't think there's anything luxurious about it. But for some people, having a Tesla Model Y has more status than owning a BMW or Mercedes-Benz. Doesn't do it for me, but for those people it does. So what is it? I don't know. That's the thing about prestige items. You can't really touch. It's a thing. It's an entity. It's a bit of an enigma. I don't know. That's basically how you describe it. Hey Zach, what is in your view is the best electric crossover at the moment? Also, do you think it's better to wait a few years for the technology to improve and get more affordable? Yes, I do. Think about it. We have just in the last year seen 3 or 4 new electric SUVs. The Ioniq, the ID4, and there's a few I'm missing off the top of my head. There's the Model Y, which is the best seller. And we're going to have the EV6 from Kia. And that's what it is, the Mach-E. That's the one I was thinking about. The Mach-E from Mustang. So that's all within the last 12 months. That's what we've got for electric SUVs. Toyota's coming with their Beyond Zero 4X this summer. Subaru's going to have a version of that. So the longer you wait, the more options you have, which is what I say about a lot of these new technology cars, is exactly the question you're asking. Do I buy now or do I wait to jump in? The analogy I use is, Should I buy this phone or should I wait for the new version to come out in 4 months? That's a conundrum. I need a phone. Do I buy this one or do I wait a few months for the new updated version with a better camera, better battery, and better features? That's the problem we have with new technology cars. Buy now or wait. Perfect example is like the plug-ins. So you've got the Tucson plug-in hybrid, 50 kilometers of range. You've got the RAV4 Prime plug-in hybrid, 68 kilometers of range. But just around the corner is the Mitsubishi Outlander with maybe 87 kilometers of electric range. Should I buy the Tucson? Should I wait for the Outlander? And that's the problem. People get kind of paralyzed. My opinion about all this is I say the road or the steps to electrification, it's like 100 steps. Okay? We're at step 4 or 5. We got a long way to go. All of these brands have to come out with full electric options in the most popular category, which is the compact utility vehicle, at a price that doesn't need government intervention to move them. And right now, you need government intervention to move them. People are expecting to get dollars in their pocket in the form of rebates to move these cars. So I think that, back to my point a moment ago, I think the best vehicle value right now in the marketplace is the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid. You get instant fuel savings. Doesn't cost much more than the regular gas version to buy it. Excellent resale value, a known entity when it comes to reliability and resale value. And then in 2 or 3 years, there's going to be so many more vehicles available to choose from. Just remember that staircase to full electrification, we've still got 90-something stairs to go. There's going to be so many options in the future. All right, let's get some more super chats here. Another question. Would you buy an 11 Acura MDX with 147,000 miles for $8,500? A Honda Pilot with 103, assuming that they don't have problems and looking for reliability, comfort, space for a family, all 3-row. So it's funny you pick the MDX and the Pilot. The MDX and the Pilot are on a shared platform. So they take the Honda Pilot and then they put in fancier leather seats and different sort of design on the outside. But the Honda Pilot is the MDX, just with a different skin on it and a different interior, so on. So if it's between those two, I'd just get the Pilot and save some money. Back to my point I made a moment ago when you asked. If I was going to buy an older car with 100,000 plus miles on it for the kind of money you're talking about, I would feel most comfortable with a Highlander. But that's my answer. Save yourself a few bucks with the super chats. I appreciate it, but I don't want you to spend any more money. Just look for a Highlander. Sounds like you've got a Honda dealer near you. But yeah, if it's between the MDX and the Pilot, save some money, buy the Pilot. It's maybe not as fancy on the inside, but it's essentially the same vehicle underneath. Same engine. Actually, and I believe that the Pilot can run on regular gas, and you're supposed to put premium in the MDX. Okay, I gotta figure out where I was here. Hi, Zach. Good evening from Richmond, British Columbia. Just across the bridge there. What would be the most comfortable and fuel-efficient SUV to drive between Seattle and Richmond every week? Budget is $45,000 Canadian. The most comfortable and fuel-efficient SUV to drive, 45 grand. Fuel-efficient. I would go back to the thing with the RAV4 is the RAV4 saves you the most money in the city, but still gets pretty good fuel economy. And the RAV4 Hybrid isn't the most dynamic when it comes to passing on the highway. If you're talking about doing a lot of highway driving, I would say maybe even the regular gas Toyota RAV4 might be a little bit better because it's got the 8-speed automatic transmission, and you can get a full. Oh, I know what it is. maybe the CX-5 from Mazda. But if you're looking for fuel efficiency, maybe don't get the turbo, get the 2.5 liter base engine. Would be good on fuel. And also, yeah, that would be a good highway car for sure. So the CX-5. 2022 G70 3.3 turbo versus a Mercedes-Benz C43, 2021 C43. I would probably say the Genesis. You know, the C-Class is a great product, and it's actually held up very well considering it's been out for a long time, and we're still waiting for the new one to come, and it's going to be coming soon into the North American market. It's already been released in Europe. But I would say the Genesis has been updated, got a new sort of facelift on the outside, and it's a hell of a car. Yeah, I would say Genesis on that one. Andrea, oh, hi, Zach. Well, you and Andrea will be bringing back Nightlife for your car review videos. No, I don't think so. The interesting thing about Nightlife is that we used to do Nightlife after Questions, Coffee, and Cars. We had the music and the shots and all that kind of stuff. I think a lot of people thought that was the end of the video. And we saw in our metrics that we get from YouTube, showed that we had a drop-off of viewership after Nightlife. So we removed it. I know some people like the outside shots and all that kind of stuff, but we did it just purely on keeping our audience watching the videos longer. So that's why. Plus, it took a whole lot of work to go and shoot those. For Andrea was the one who went and did it, and she shot them all, and it was just a lot of work for 12 seconds of video. I just said to her, I don't think it's worth it, and I don't think it is worth it. Raj again, I'm shocked at how crazy the Porsche market is, used and new. I find it unfair that dealers pick and choose who gets to order a normal car, not to mention a GT car. Porsche needs to step in to fix this. Well, I don't know about that, Raj, because if you think about it, if you say you were, it doesn't matter what the business is. Say you're selling, we'll pick watches because I'm a watch guy. Say you get somebody that comes in and they buy a new watch every 6 months from you, all right? Whether it's a Grand Seiko or an Omega or a Rolex or whatever it is. And then there's a new hot watch comes in, and they're going to say, oh, am I going to sell it to Raj, who buys a watch from us every 6 months? Or the guy who just walks in off the street and says, I want that new hot watch? That's not the way it works. Business is looking after your longtime customers. And in the case of Porsche, the dealerships will have people who have bought or leased many cars from them. They might have had 2 or 3 Cayennes, a Macan, maybe a sports car, and so on. It's just basic business. If you get a limited number of something, are you going to make it available to your best customer or some schmuck who just comes in and says, I want to get that car? Well, that's not the way it works. That's the way it works with any... Listen, you go to a restaurant and the restaurant's full, and you go to that restaurant every Friday night and you know the bartender, the maitre d', the head server and all that, and they go, oh, Mr. Raj, nice to see you. Oh, don't worry. Just stand over there for a minute. We'll get you in as soon as we can. That's the way the world works. Now, I know a lot of people think it's unfair, but with an entity like a Porsche, especially their GT cars, which are so sought after, they go to the people who have bought many of them. And then the other thing is the dealer's got no headaches with that buyer. They might have bought 10 cars off them over the years. They know when the car comes in, they're going to get paid, the car's going to roll away, and they're going to be happy. They don't have somebody coming in, well, I got to figure out if my wife likes it, and if it's, they don't need any of that stuff. And unfortunately, that's the way the world works. I agree that it's not fair, but the world ain't fair. And listen, could I go down to the Porsche dealer and say, hey, by the way, I want a 911 GT3 when one comes in? They're going to tell me, Zach, yeah, we love you, man, but there's like a whole list of people ahead of you because there are better customers. Hey, Zach, not sure about the comparison of MDX and Q60. Saw your video for some reason. Need a second opinion. Not sure about the comparison. Listen, we like both cars, okay? The MDX and the QX60 are both fine. I got no issue with that. I would say on the driving and handling front, MDX is the more competent car. They're both fine, but I would give the handling advantage to the MDX. I would even suggest the styling on the outside of the MDX is nicer. I think the MDX has more standard features on the entry level than the Infiniti. What Andrea and I just don't like, and you might be fine with it, totally fine with it, is the trackpad computer interface. I just don't like it. And would it stop me from buying it before the QX60 came out? No. I would still, and I have recommended the MDX over and over. It's a great product. But now that the QX60's out, I'm like, I don't have to live with that trackpad. I get something that's similar in size and cost. So these two are going to be battling it out, and I think the QX60 is going to do really well for Infiniti, and God, they need it because they've been in such trouble over the last few years. But listen, if you like the MDX and you can get your head around the trackpad and the computer interface and all of that kind of stuff, it's a great product. I got no problem recommending either of them. So there you go. That's basically where we're at with it. C Square is saying, hit the like button, everybody. Nice. Got over 400 people on here. That's awesome. Hello, Zach. Is Porsche better than other premium brands like BMW, Audi, Mercedes-Benz, Alfa Romeo? Greetings from Lima, Peru. I would say that two things in Porsche's favor over the other brands. Three things. Brand appeal, I would say Porsche's the highest. And I've seen this study after study. They have aspirational survey they do of customers, and they say, you know, if you came into some money or your great uncle left you an inheritance and you could go and buy any car that you wanted, the number one choice and the most aspirational brand is a Porsche. Okay, so on brand, I think it trumps the others for aspirational reasons. Then you follow up with amazing resale value. And for me, I know I go on about this all the time, and hopefully you guys are getting it. When you buy a car, look at the whole cost of ownership. So resale is massive. And then reliability. Porsche is right near the very top in terms of quality after 3 years. J.D. Power does initial quality study, which I'm sure you've heard all about, their IQS, and they do a dependability study after 3 years of ownership. And Porsche scores very highly. They've had a few bumps in the last year or so with the implementation of Taycan, but overall, their regular gas models are very reliable, and that's why I think they offer a premium experience for the buyer from end to end, from buying it to owning it to selling it. Now, they're expensive to maintain, but all of these cars can be expensive to maintain. Sleeper sedan. Oh yeah, you know, James is giving us, somebody asked about a sleeper sedan under a certain amount of money. Yeah, the Mazda 3 Turbo. That's actually a very good choice. When will the 2023 Honda CR-V be out? Well, we know it's coming. When they're going to release it, I don't know. The typical cadence for things like that is can be either one of two things. It can actually be a fall release as a new model year. So typically the fall season is when we get a lot of new calendar year cars. So the 2023 models could be coming out this fall. Or Honda has in the past actually released cars in the year that they're in the calendar year that they're released. So it might actually be in the new year. We don't know. First of all, we got to go through two cycles. One is they'll show the prototype, and then they'll show the production car, and then they'll announce when it's going to be coming out. That's the way they've done it over the last 10 plus years. They show a concept, they show the production version, then they announce when they're going to release it. So we have to wait. The good news is if you're in the market for a CR-V, it's going to be within the next year, okay? Probably. So that's the answer. Hold tight. We can't wait to get it. And we're thrilled that the production is staying here in Canada. Someone's saying the questions aren't coming up on the screen. You guys not seeing the questions? That's interesting. I miss station wagons. Do you think they'll be making a comeback? No. I think they'll be going away, to be honest with you. Hello from Prince George. Do you know if Mazda CX-90 is coming in 2023? The vehicle is due for a refresh. I'm not sure. Yeah, I would say it's probably going to be refreshed for next year. I traded my 18 Toyota Highlander V6 to a 2020 Highlander hybrid. I missed the V6 power. This is my first hybrid vehicle. Oh, it wasn't a hybrid. What's your opinion of the 2022 Toyota Highlander hybrid? Thanks. I would kind of agree with you that I understand what Toyota's doing to try and, make their vehicles even more fuel efficient. But going from the V6 to a four-cylinder hybrid for some people is going to be kind of sticky. But I would suggest you just drive it a little longer and kind of get used to it. The power is different than what you had in your older engine. Yeah, but I kind of agree with you. We mentioned it actually in the Lexus RX video. So that Lexus RX is in its last year. Are they going to bring the Lexus RX hybrid back with the V6 or not? Probably not. My guess it's going to be the turbo four-cylinder, but we'll have to wait and see. Tim Rapp. We got a super chat from Tim Rapp and another one, so thank you for that. Well, here's the question from Tim. We're looking at a crossover SUV all-wheel drive, looking at the Corolla Cross, the Kia Seltos, the Hyundai Kona, Subaru Crosstrek. What would be your top two and any other solid options? Well, I think you've picked the best of the pack, to be honest with you. I would say that the Seltos is probably one of the bigger ones, so that would be a consideration. The Kona's smaller. The Crosstrek is just a really good all-rounder. And as much as I like the Corolla Cross, I found the back seat kind of small, and it was certainly noisy on the highway. We did notice that when we drove it. So I would say 1 and 2 would be now if the I would say Seltos, Kona, basically they're built on the same platform with similar engines. So that would be, I would categorize that as one car. You decide which one you like better for space. The Seltos has more space, and then the Crosstrek. That would be my order. All right. We've been up and running for an hour. Thanks to everybody for being on board. I appreciate it. Thanks for all the super chats. And now I get to go and watch the rest of the football game. So I'll chat with you next Sunday. Enjoy the week. Coming up this week, we have the comparison. The Mitsubishi Outlander 3-row compact utility and the Volkswagen Tiguan 3-row compact utility. Wednesday, it's the BMW M240i. And on Saturday, it's going to be the full-size electric Mercedes sedan, the EQS. So lots of cool and varied stuff coming this week on the channel. So thanks for watching. We'll see you all next week, and take care, everyone.